Welcome to the loop.
That's right. You know what time it is.
To clap your
It's
hands.
time for the loop.
Yay.
It's that time of the week where you gather with your loved ones, and we're your loved ones. Because, family sucks. Welcome to The Loop. It's a talk show about video games. And let's just get it started right now by thanking everyone who's in the chat. Trevi91, Irrelevant Native, welcome back.
Stranger danger.
He just comes in here calling us weenies.
Well, he's not right.
And he said the production value major setup, although that applause is so unrealistic.
Oh, no, it's not. Let's hear from our crowd, our live studio audience.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you in the front right there. That's cute.
Unfortunately, we don't have
The
a
heart
camera
thing?
for the
Yeah,
audience.
that's nice.
But,
I like that.
You keep your shirt on. All right.
Relative just subscribed. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you for
Irrelevant.
subscribing.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
We do appreciate that very, 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 very much. I think that was enough varies, but if it wasn't, I will say more. Just let me know if you need
Very
Two more.
need me to say it again.
Two more.
I'll add more.
I need 2 more varies. I don't know. That wasn't a very good
That's almost like a
Catholic
verily,
preach
verily
thing.
I say unto you. Like,
that was like a
tone.
Baptist preacher trying to be a Catholic.
He got to use the Nathan emote. Irrelevant.
I've known a pastor like that. Where they wear the collar out in public just to be, seen. Yeah, but
So were they actually a
don't
pastor,
wear,
or were
but
they
they
just
don't
wearing
wear the collar in church.
No, they did. Okay. I know the same one.
Yeah, that's true. They did.
No,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Anyways.
The only person.
Hey, Jeremy, you should
I've
do
seen that,
that
not in
just
the
for
Catholic
fun. Wander
Wear a
around
collar?
with a collar.
I thought about it just for fun.
Just see what happens.
Splash water on people.
Interact with
I used to
people.
have credentials.
Irrelevant says, "Where is Old Nose Boy?" Are you talking about
he's talking about Nathan.
He's
Tomorrow night.
He'll be here tomorrow night. Yeah, we kind of switched the
They-
show up if you haven't been here in a while.
Yeah, they swap. These two.
Yes, so we are excited because that's a word you say when you don't know what else to say, but you want to convey
I'm so
your
excited.
feelings
Your
about
excitement. You want to convey your excitement.
Yeah,
No.
I mean my titillation maybe, my
I like that.
elation. I mean, I'm sure I could look up a bunch
Your
of
giddiness.
words. My joyfulness. No, I think we got a lot to cover tonight, and I think everybody's been, the summer lull is kind of coming to an end.
Games
and
are starting to come out.
and
Yes.
people are starting to play them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, not that I would say before Tuesday, I was like bouncing back and forth between some pretty old games, just trying to find something to catch my attention.
Yeah, to hold on to spend some quality
Yeah.
time with.
Also, it doesn't help that my 9-year-old daughter is obsessed with Sims now, and I have the Origin Pass on PC. And well, she was watching some YouTube videos, and she's like, look at this game, like, and it was like this brand new thing to her. And I was like, oh yeah, we got that game I got on PC. It was free with this thing. And she's like, can I try it? And I'm like, sure, whatever. And usually her MO is to just like play a game for like 20 minutes and just never play it again. Like, this isn't for me. Well, it backfired, and I rarely get to use my PC. So, I'm like seriously considering building like a PC, like another one,
Well,
just
now,
for
now
my
you
kids
can hand
to use.
that. No, you can hand this one down.
Yeah, I know,
And
right?
get the latest
better.
everything.
I
You
did.
can buy one of those RTX cards.
I mean, it's for the kids, really.
I did think about like just buying a better video card and then buying all new parts other than that and just
Oh, there you
replacing
go.
my video card and giving them my older card, my 980 Ti, but I don't know. We'll see. But yes, we are here. Let's see, what are we seeing in the chat? There's a lot to keep up with. Let's see, downgraded Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Downgraded or downloaded. Let's see, a Battlefield.
Downgraded.
Now he's talking about Puddlegate.
Battlefield
What's
Bit.
Puddlegate?
Yeah,
I missed it.
There are 2 pictures in the Spider-Man game.
They're like screenshots from
Yeah.
2 of the trailers.
One
like
of them's from E3, I think, and then one of them's from more
2017
recently.
E3. So the old, not this year's E3, but
And they're saying the
previous.
graphics is a downgrade.
And there's more puddles in one and fewer in the other. And they're saying it's a graphics downgrade.
well, they repaved the street.
Well, so here, this is what's
Okay.
happening here. So this top pictures from E3 2017. The bottom pictures from the really recent game. There's
Well-
2 things that people are pointing out to it. One is that the
lighting, the
lighting,
shaders
like the
look worse.
Spider-Man suit, is shinier. Which, if you look at
There's
it,
more depth on it for sure.
if you check out Digital Foundry, they do these great, like, nerdy, in-depth videos on this stuff, and they broke it all down. And actually, the texture quality is equal on Spider-Man's suit in both of these. It's just that they had like a shinier, like Saran wrap looking thing that they put on the original game, and this one they must have. I think it was an artistic choice to make it more cloth-like.
Yeah.
Now,
Which I like.
the other side of it is the puddles. It's interesting
that.
because there's more or less, and people are like, "Oh, it can't render
Yeah, but there's
puddles."
significantly more light
Yeah, and reflection.
and depth of view in the bottom one.
So I learned something from this Digital Foundry video, which I'm giving them credit because I don't want to. I mean, I thought about it for a second. I thought, man, I should just say all this stuff and act like I'm
Sound
really
real
smart.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is where I learned.
You're real
this.
smart.
I learned
You're real
something
smart.
new. There's a thing that they use when they develop like any type of 3D video game where there's reflection. That's called I think it's called the cube reflection, and so it's like a mirrored image, but in like a cube, almost like if you were to unfold a paper cube. You know how that would look, and like, and so. What they are suspecting is that they use that for these puddles, and it was actually reflecting. Like, if you watch the video, you can actually see the reflection of the buildings outside change as he moves around the puddle, and it's because of this reflection cube that's moving around in there, reflecting the outside. But what they said with this is, yes, there's less puddles, but they think the reason is because they've kind of just used a generic reflection cube on all of the indoor environments that have puddles on them, because the outdoor ones still reflect light specifically to, like, they showed examples of where it's actually better in the release, because like there's a helicopter that's crashing and it's actually reflecting the sparks in the puddles in the outdoor environments, and
Okay.
it wasn't in E3's thing.
Well-
So technically it's better, but it looks like maybe they had to, like, before they released it, they did have to, like, maybe cut up some corners in the interior lighting stuff.
well, they definitely
because,
adjusted the contrast in the interior
Yeah.
lighting as well. And like I already mentioned, the depth of field is significantly better.
Well, and it almost looks like the lighting in general, it's like a more blue tint to it, or blue color.
Yeah.
So
Well, and the E3 almost looks like it's more cinematic, whereas the release one looks like it fits more as a video game.
yeah.
I don't know.
Actually in-game.
But yeah, I don't think we'll probably talk about Spider-Man later, but we might as well jump into it now. I think this game, from everything I'm seeing about it, it just looks incredible. Like, I'm so excited to play this. I'm more excited now than I had been, like, from the first trailer I saw. Like, I think everything I'm hearing about it, it just sounds so cool. I didn't realize that they were going to have, like, tons of suits in it that you can get and
Yeah.
like, upgrade. Like,
Well, and this E3, I know you especially were a little more sour on it
Yeah.
because of the fact that they showed like the big fight against people. There wasn't a lot of the city. So, I mean, everything that I've seen in reviews just looks like they are very happy with how this game has turned out, which I mean, I think Spider-Man's just a great character to make a video game about. I
Yeah,
think
it's
he's
tempting
been the most
me.
successful, right?
I mean, Spider-Man 2 was awesome.
Yeah.
That was like the web slinging thing, and they said they really captured that in this game.
It's tempting me to dust off Trevor's
You should.
PlayStation that's in the
Do it.
studio.
You should.
right now, put it in your queue.
Well, but,
I mean,
You know,
but,
actually,
but I got Tomb Raider in the queue, and I don't want to buy Tomb Raider, but I want to get Tomb Raider when it comes out. So it's this weird dilemma.
Yeah, but this comes out before Tomb Raider.
Just
I know,
upgrade to
but-
2 games.
Oh, you're right. That's what I'm gonna do right now.
Real quick, speaking of when this comes out,
Thank you, Kyle.
Trevi, no, it comes out Friday. Thanks, Relevant Native said it in the chat,
That's
but
enough time. I should get it.
it comes out Friday. That means like
Yes.
2 days from now.
Yes.
Well, technically tomorrow night at
Tomorrow.
11 p.m. is when you could play it if you have the digital version. Relevant Native says it's Arkham Asylum style fighting. It sounds like it is, especially at the beginning of the game. But as you start to unlock different upgrades, I think it diversifies a little bit from that because you do have the web slinging, incorporated into your combat.
And probably
so it's
different
a little bit.
different moves that you unlock with your webs and stuff like that too.
And I've thought that kind of fighting style almost fit better to Spider-Man anyway, just because, like, it always looked really weird when Batman was like swinging clear across the room.
Well, it was more like an ice figure, like a figure skater, like sliding to punch someone, and
it's like Spider-Man is meant to be a lot more mobile. He's agile. He's jumping around all over the place, and it makes more sense for that. And so I'm excited to see. Well, and it looks a lot like it's that kind of easy to learn but difficult to master, and you can make it look really, really cool, or you can just be really dumb and just punch people all the time.
Yeah, and just kind of mash buttons and
so I'm really excited to try and be as cool as possible.
and
I
share those
and
clips.
dying all the
I
time.
agree. I think I think
The mash buttons would really annoy me.
Yeah.
For this sort for being who he is. You know what I mean? Like
It does sound like there.
to me that feels like you put him into a Smash Bros game or something silly.
Maybe some of the combat would be that way, but it sounds like there's a lot of multi-button presses
Yeah.
that you have to do
Combo
for,
type stuff?
Well, no, just for traversing, like
Yeah.
shooting the webs, and then like you can do kind of like timed jumps and things like that that'll make you jump higher. And
Yeah,
stuff
that's
like
another
that.
thing I'm really excited about. Is just a game with good locomotion. I discovered it how much I loved it through Infamous 2, and I've just been like addicted to those kind of games up until now. And it's just like I loved, what was it called? Paradise Sunset
Sunset
Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive. That was a lot of
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
to play. I'm really excited for it. And it's just
that
Spider-Man.
had decent
It's fun, so.
traversal.
that was
Yeah.
for sure.
That was made
Yeah.
the same company.
Same company. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Well, yeah, and that's the same company that made Ratchet and Clank. It's the same company that made Infamous Second Son, right? Or no, that's
that was Sucker Punch.
That's Sucker Punch. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, what else did Insomniac make? Well,
They made Resistance. didn't they?
Resistance. That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
of. Yep. Okay. So Resistance, and a lot of the reviews have even kind of said that evoked that sentiment that this is kind of an amalgamation of all their
of those
work in the
things.
past, like between Ratchet and Clank and I think one review I read said it was like the storytelling of Resistance, the traversal of Sunset Overdrive. And then I don't remember what they compared to Ratchet and Clank, but if you've ever played Ratchet and Clank, it's kind of, it's a platformer, so maybe they compared it to the platforming of this game.
Maybe like the joy. I don't
Yeah.
know. It seems like this would be a really joyful game.
Yeah, and it sounds like Spider-Man maintains his optimistic worldview in this, like he does from the comics and the recent Marvel movies. But Kyle, I think you were going to say something. I think Trevor and I both cut you off.
I was just going to say. I mean, as much as the Batman movement, I completely agree that like there was a lot of that Batman fighting that felt like it was very natural. It was when you suddenly took out all three of the guys that were real close to you, and then you jumped across the room like Spider-Man would. So I could definitely see that fighting tactic being really, really useful to feel natural in this type of world.
Yeah. I mean, it's soon, very soon, we'll be able to get our hands on this.
Yes.
We will be swinging
What? What was that?
Whoa.
soon and very soon.
I don't think that's
Okay.
how the song
You
goes.
are gonna- Oh,
Place.
That is not the
I
song.
wasn't
Gonna
even-
swing into
web
Manhattan.
swinging.
That's a weird combination
Oh
of
my
songs
God.
there.
I thought you were Nathan for a second.
No, I wasn't even thinking that. But one thing is, I think it's interesting to see that they've tried to. It sounds like they tried to recreate New York pretty well. I mean, it's not to scale. Obviously, it's probably smaller, but
I'm sure it
I
has
mean,
key landmark buildings.
yeah, landmarks and
Yeah.
like. But you figure with something like this where you're swinging around, it's going to be. You need that larger landscape to like get around and. you
Oh,
know,
for sure.
So the thing that'll be interesting though is if the traversing is only to get between these little hot spots of activity. Like if it's
Versus what?
versus it being a world that you could really stop and like like
Enjoy.
enjoy,
Sniff the flowers.
yeah, or be in, or have maybe side quests that just show up, like someone,
Oh, yeah, it's definitely-
someone, stealing a purse or something like that, and you see it as you're swinging, and you can stop and do that, and then
there's like if there's a car accident in the traffic, you'll see an ambulance come, and then,
so if you could like save people from
and
it
then-
as you're moving.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know
yeah.
if you can intercede in those situations.
I know they'll have like randomized missions to where like,
Yeah.
oh, they're robbing a bank.
But do you know what I mean though? Like if it's I kicked off this mission, so that's now my goal.
No, there's going to be
versus
side.
more open
There'll
world.
be a bunch of
It's
side
open
quests
world.
happening.
Yeah.
The other thing they said is what I think is it's like I don't know, the cutest thing I guess is that if you can just go down to the ground, walk around, and like be Spider-Man, whatever, and people will react to it like, oh my gosh, it's Spider-Man, and like you just just walk around. But the best thing is if you the one thing everybody wants to do in an open world game, you just walk up to a NPC pedestrian and just punch him in the face, right?
Sure.
Well, if
Yeah.
you in this game, if you go up to him and like hit the combat button, he'll stop and like try to like take a picture with them, or
awesome.
he'll high five them, or he'll like
So-
do some
So
sort of
he's
like
still the good guy.
Yeah,
you
so-
can't be the good guy playing a bad guy.
yeah, you have to just be the good guy, and
That's actually kind of cool.
it's so awesome. I love that they put that in there. So like you go to be violent with the civilians, and they totally
Like,
just
hey,
like
what's up?
yeah.
So Kuiper's put up this picture of Spidey at the top of a building taking
do
a selfie.
selfies?
Yeah.
Is there a photo mode that's like a
Not yet. That's coming later.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, I could totally see that
Yeah.
part of the game for sure.
It's
yeah.
not. They said it's not going to be at release, but it seems like a big miss, like to not be able to take selfies with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
So,
like especially the idea of, I mean, Irrelevant Native said photo mode would essentially be a smartphone camera in game,
yeah.
which makes sense, especially with Spider-Man wandering around.
Yeah. And I think
New
they
York.
said it will be in the game later. They're supposed to add that and then like New Game Plus down the road a little bit later. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
Cool.
I think this is going to be a winner. It's
Yeah.
Sony's got another
Yeah.
big, like, it's crazy to think Sony. I mean, it feels like they didn't have a lot of great first party stuff out there for a while, and then they hit with God of War, and
Yep.
now with this, and it's like, wow, they're really ratcheting it
Yeah,
up.
and
So
I God of War, that game was so awesome.
that game was incredible. But anyways, this looks really good. It's only on PlayStation 4, so and it sounds like too. I was watching some comparisons between the Pro and the basic model, and it seems like it's about the same on both of them, really. So
Awesome.
Dang it.
I mean, it's they optimized it really well. I think there's a little bit more of a stable frame rate on the Pro, but it looked like from the Digital Foundry video I watched, like it was pretty much stable the whole time. It's just that the resolutions just look a lot better. The textures look a lot better on the
Yeah.
Pro, and then I think maybe the draw distance is a little better. But mechanically, the way they built this game, it's super impressive because like as you swing, the cars and the civilians walking around on the street, they load in as you come down, but it's so seamless you don't notice it, and they're loading in and then they load out as you go up, and like as far as you get up there, they'll start to look like little stick people down there, and then they kind of fade out into the distance. But they even did this thing with that I mentioned earlier, that cube reflection whatever system that they use in these. Then when you're like crawling across the skyscraper, they kind of have these almost like blanketed skins in the windows, so it looks like a little office building. It's just like a little cube, and it's not anything graphically impressive, but it is impressive that you see an interior when you're crawling across it. And some of the buildings are mirrored or the windows are closed, but like there are some where you can actually see the interior.
But they have movement through the window, even though it's a
just from the your
Yes, I
camera
mean, your
moving,
camera
but
pan,
not
yeah.
not like people in it or whatever.
It makes
but-
it feel real. It makes it not feel like
Now I
this
don't-
is a big box I'm crawling on.
Yeah, right. And hopefully this doesn't annoy anyone, but one thing I did notice when someone was playing with that is when you go around a corner. Did you see that?
I saw that. Yeah,
It's like
weird.
it's like, so if you go around the corner and look in the window, like you could see where the window would be on the other side, but it's like a wall. But then when you go around, it's a window and it's a wall on the other window because of the way that graphical interface like
What the
work.
heck?
It's kind of anyways.
yeah, they don't have it reflecting the outside through the other window as well.
Yeah. Hey, we got new names from Irrelevant Native. He says, so sick. We've got Brown Beard, Black Beard, Graybeard and Babyface.
There you go.
Actually, I think Trevor would be Stubble and Babyface would be over here behind it.
Yeah.
Show your Babyface.
Show your baby face.
I don't want to
baby
now.
Do it, baby face.
Yeah,
Actually,
fine.
he's got a little stubble growing in there, so that's nice. You're a cute little baby face. Actually, I think right now I'm brown, but like it gets a little longer, and the red really shows. It's,
Yeah, that's
Kyle,
true.
Kyle can see. Man.
The red shows the longer that your beard is.
Yeah.
So.
And to be called Graybeard, I mean, I can't complain there.
I mean, that is one of the cooler pirate names.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we're excited about Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think we are.
I talked about it. I have other games I would like to talk about.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You normally go last in
Yeah,
the whole
kick us off.
gameplay.
What are you
Just keep
playing?
going.
I gotta
Just
go.
keep going, Eric.
I gotta address
You
my
gotta
notes.
get to your
then.
notes that you took.
I took some notes.
You tweeted out.
I tweeted my notes, so
Most
you
of
can
your
follow
notes.
along on my note. I've added some since then, but if you'd like to follow along, please go to @EricWent on Twitter.
You also tweeted a picture of Eric and Eric going on a quest.
Right, which I thought was so funny. Before I tweeted the notes, like I was uncreative. Anyway, by the way, we're talking about Dragon Quest 11.
Okay.
That came out yesterday, and I've played maybe 4 or 5 hours of it. But I was uncreative, and I just put my name in as Eric, ERIC, Eric. And
That's your name.
I got through a little bit of the game. I finally get my first party member, and it's like, my name is Eric, and it's spelt with a K. And so now, like, all the dialogue stuff looks weird because it's like Eric with a K and Eric with a
Well, at
C.
least it's not identical.
And then it's
I mean,
like,
there's at
yeah,
least that.
I know. I'm so glad that it wasn't like, because I was thinking about it. How confusing would it be?
You wouldn't know who they're talking about in
yeah,
the storyline.
if they referenced both of us in a sentence, and I wouldn't quite. Yeah. Anyways,
Wait, which one are you talking
Hi,
about?
this is Eric and my other brother Eric.
and I just thought that was such
That
a
was
weird,
Daryl.
I
ironic.
know it was a.
I don't know. I'm just happy. It's a bright day for Erics in video games. I feel like there hasn't been many of them in my experience.
Eric's everywhere rejoice.
Yeah.
Well, there's not many Trevors in video games,
That's
and the
true.
only one has been a psychopath.
Well, it's a very infamous Trevor though, so at least you have that.
True.
I
A lovable psychopath, maybe, but
I mean, I will say if you spell Eric with a K, I mean, you are lower of a person, but that's
Whoa.
only because of
It sounds
the
like
alphabet.
you're East Coast.
That's only because
you know,
of the
like you're from the
alphabet.
East Coast. If you have it with a K.
Anyways,
I don't know. It just sounds,
Tell us your notes, Eric.
So one thing is I love the voice acting is pretty bad.
Awesome.
It's like
I love how the voice acting is bad.
it's like in a good way though, because it's like this. It's a Japanese game where I think most of the previous releases didn't really have much voice acting, and so having it is nice for me because I don't like to read. Even though there are a lot of NPCs where you have text only interactions with. But the voice actors are all like variants of like an English accent, but there's some that are Cockney, which just is like my favorite, where they don't pronounce the H in anything, like "eat over there," and then they're like "you bloody puke." No, they didn't say that, but that's just that's what I would imagine.
that's
they would
Eric's
say.
go-to.
Yeah, and that's
They eat haggis, right?
yeah, and it's just they refer to people as tea leaves, like. I hadn't seen this tea leaf in ages. You bloody puke. Anyways, no, but
Want that in the game
I just
so
want to
bad.
add. I hope someone says bloody puke.
I don't even know where you got that from.
It's it's a thing. Ask Kyle later.
thing.
Talk to Kyle later.
I'll fill you in.
And I love that the story
awkward.
beats. Hamara Tank. I think
Hey.
Hamar Tank.
Hammer Tank?
I'm gonna call you Tank. Tank, welcome to the chat.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So the voice acting's fun in there. Then the story beats are like kind of. It's interesting how they seem to be pulled directly from sources that you can identify like very easily.
Okay.
Like in the beginning, your character, which is like it's a very like, which I'll talk about this a little later, but it's a very like tropish thing of you're the chosen one, but you're reincarnated and all this stuff. And so you're the baby. And at the beginning, like your older sibling is running from these soldiers. And
Wait, you
you're-
start the game as a baby?
Well, the cutscene is showing the
Oh,
story.
I thought you were trying to play
No.
as a baby. I'm like, that's gonna be fun.
No, so it shows you like running away, like your sister's carrying you in a basket, and then she puts you in like a river and floats you.
So you're Moses.
So and then someone else finds you in another village and they raise you, and so yeah, it's
Okay.
a total Moses thing. There's that one point after I escape a prison. This is early in the game, so this isn't a spoiler, but you escape like a prison dungeon thing, and you end up with these guards chasing you down like a tunnel or a cave, I guess. But then you're standing on the edge of a waterfall and you have to jump, just like The Fugitive with Harrison Ford.
Awesome.
So it was just like very funny. The whimsical music is a nice touch, although sometimes it borders on cheesy. It's just it really is dramatic and almost melodramatic because it's so dramatic. I don't know. It's just it's cheery and maybe over the top at times. The combat right now, like I said, I'm very early on in it. It's kind of your basic run-of-the-mill JRPG, but a lot of times Dragon Quest games have a reputation for being easy, and it's not challenging yet, but we'll see. Like I was talking about the storytelling, it's interesting because it started out very stereotypical, and I thought it was cool how early on it flips the narrative really quick and in almost a different way than like you'd expect from like a Zelda game or something like that, and that was really fun, and it made me actually care about the story, where I was like, oh boy, this is going to be hard to get through this because the story seems very obvious, and then anyways, plot twist.
So kind of like Tank said, typical RPG plots, but the important part is the story. Is that
Right? Yeah,
how
I think the plots were typical. Like I said, kind of from the beginning, but then I feel like they did kind of flip it on its head a little bit, where it's like, oh, okay, maybe the character isn't going to have it as easy as he does in these other games, like that you have come to expect. You know, like he's the chosen one, but maybe that isn't as obvious as you would see. It would
Right.
seem. Anyways, I also thought this is just an ironic antidote is that you go to like religious shrines or priests to save the game, and I just thought it was funny that you
Saving the game.
get saved. That really kind of made me laugh. I don't know if that was intentional, but every time I see like a shrine or like a priest, I can go up to it and save my game, and I was just like, I am coming to get saved again.
We've got a great game that's in the works here. It's the Dragon Quest Moses.
Okay.
I had said the one where Moses saves Egypt from dragons, and a relevant native corrected me and said, nope, Moses saves the dragons from Egypt.
True.
He said Egyptians built the pyramids to capture the dragons. Moses, free my people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As long as he uses a pitchfork to shoot W's at
Yeah.
them.
that's true.
Throwback.
And I think the only other thing I wanted to mention is I just got to a part where like you can find these campfires, and a lot of times they're located by the shrines where you can save, but it's a place for your characters to kind of rest and like regain some HP and whatever. And you get this little mini forge system that you can only use at the campfires, and it's cool because I was collecting these different like things, and like sometimes minerals or little trinkets or yarn or just random things in the world, and I didn't know what they were for, but you can actually craft custom built weapons in it. And it's even got like this fun little mini game where you have to try to align these bars with like at a certain point and then get it all to line up right, and then that kind of that's what defines the strength of that weapon. And so it's kind of an interesting play on like crafting weapons. So you do have a little bit of input. Like if you really botch that, you're gonna have a
So it's like some of those games where they have the little mini water flowing through pipes, and you got to put them in the right order to make sure the water flows all the way.
Pretty much,
or-
it's like almost like you're like a health bar that fills up,
Yeah.
and and when you press the first one, you see how much it's going to fill up each button press. So let's say it does like 1.5 inches. You know it's going to go another 1.5 inches after you push that. So then there's like a stopping mark that's like in the
Oh, and you're
center
trying
of an
to get
area,
as
and it's
close
like
as you
this is
can.
perfect. So you know you can push it again, so then you kind of have to judge that, like, should I push it another time, or you'll go over, or you leave it under, and then it's not as good. And so you kind of, like, that's kind of the mini game. You do that 3 times as you're, like, banging it out.
It's like the quality of your work, basically.
Yeah, and I mean it's a silly little mini game, but it's kind of a nice touch, and it seems very elaborate. Like you can, as you level up, you can craft a lot of cool stuff.
So Tank's got a question. He's asking, is the combat kind of like Persona 5? I know it's turn-based, but like how each stats affect other monsters and characters stronger for some monsters.
I would say it's much more turn-based in the way of like Final Fantasy was, more like earlier Final Fantasy games. I played Persona 5, but I didn't get deep enough into that game to completely wrap my head around the combat system. So if I understand it clearly, I don't think it's as elaborate as Persona 5. This is a little more simplistic turn-based. It is weird though, because it'll load in your enemies, and then there will be a thin line circle that will outline the battlefield area, and you can move your character. And I honestly have no idea I wonder if that comes into play later, if there's some reason behind that, because I can move them all around in this circle, but it doesn't really do anything. Like I've tried to dodge or dodge attacks or something like that by running around, and it doesn't let you do that. So I'm wondering if that comes into play somehow, but
if it's just something to entertain yourself.
Or it's just something where you can run around.
Yay!
And it does keep adding kind of new skills, and you have this whole thing that looks kind of like it's pretty much your upgrade path for your character. So you can build out, like, you get upgrade points, and you can choose like what you want your strengths to be in. Like, hey, if I hey, we got a follow from Tank.
Hey.
Tank followed us.
Hey,
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
We
And
appreciate
Jolliver
that.
resubscribed.
Jolliver
Thank
resubscribed.
you.
Wow, 2 subscriptions tonight.
That's right.
Someone's got to take their shirt off.
Nathan.
Oh,
he's not here.
Jeremy's going for it.
No.
Jeremy, keep your shirt on.
Yep.
Anyways,
No one
job.
wants to see that.
Thank you.
but yeah, you kind of have to run around in that area if you want, and I don't know what that's for. But the upgrade system is I haven't progressed enough to know what there is, but you can do some interesting things like, oh, hey, if I want to use dagger attacks mostly, I can choose to upgrade that to where there's a more powerful strike whenever I hit with a dagger attack or whatever. So anyways, I'm interested to play it. I kind of got hooked on it. It's a slower paced game, so I wouldn't say you're going to jump in there and just be like, oh, I'm just, killing dudes and go. It's just a kind of a more chill, relaxed game. A Relevant Native votes Graybeard removes his shirt. I agree. That would be good. I don't know what Twitch's policy is officially on male nipples, but I guess we could find out.
What if we just do tube top kind of?
Yeah.
What if someone holds their hands
I guess.
over?
Here, I'll just put my hand right here.
Yeah.
There'll just be a bar. Whoa! Hey, that was a nice shot.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, just for you.
Yeah. So,
The
anyways,
things we do for money.
if you like that kind of an RPG, I used to really hate turn-based games, and the more I've played them, as I've gotten older, I kind of enjoyed the chillness of it, and also the strategy.
It's laid back a little bit.
The strategy
right?
of just going, hey, I know I have to defeat these guys with, I have limited health. I don't know. There is a lot of options there. Relevant Native has begun to gratify himself at the thought of Jeremy removing his shirt, so that's exciting.
Yes. Feel free to, show that gratification through Patreon.
I was going to say, whoa, do not show me.
And not through Twitter.
And then he-
This isn't another. We did that once before.
Anyways, so I won't belabor this game any longer. But I do. The only thing I will say is I'm a little anxious right now because I wasn't sure how much this game would sink its teeth into me, but it definitely has. And now I've got Spider-Man coming out, and there's another game that sunk its teeth into me recently that I have Jeremy to blame for.
Oh, it's so sweet.
And
I was waiting for this.
I know that when I get into it, I will not release myself from it for far too long, and it is terribly dangerous. And I saw your hours you already put in it, and the game
I don't even want to know. Don't even tell me.
Dude, the game came out at the end of August, and you already
It came out a week
last
from today.
Tuesday.
Are we from? Yeah,
I don't know, but
yesterday.
you have I think at least 60 hours in that, if not more.
oh my god!
So here's the deal. This is one of those games.
Oh, by the way, The game is called Scum.
Scum. Early access, very early access.
Jeez.
This game is one of those games where you could lose your family over it
Yeah.
if you have one, because this is one of those you go into play for a couple of hours and you realize it's tomorrow afternoon. Like that's how this game sucks you in. Anyway, you talk about it, Eric, before I get going on all my
I've
stuff.
been talking a lot about games.
You haven't-
Yeah.
So today,
Take over, Jeremy.
there's
Yeah.
one kind of. So it's been out for a week and a day.
Yep, you've been pooping your pants for a week and a day.
Yes, and it's funny because when you have to urinate, your guy will start dancing, and if you eat something that you shouldn't, your guy will just stop and shard all over the
He'll
place.
drop his gun and
Yeah, he's like, oh, can't stop. No matter what you're doing, you're fighting a zombie. Doesn't matter. The gameplay is pretty impressive. It's definitely survival first. PUBG style shooting plus is more a side thing, really, at this point, early access. They don't have storyline yet, so it's more just crafting and ranking up a character and looking and finding things on the map and surviving.
I would say it's close to if Rust and PUBG had a baby. Like,
Yeah, pretty close.
It's close.
And some DayZ thrown in.
Oh yeah, Little Daisy, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
so-
I think that it's crazy to see people with guns because I've played for at least 5 hours and I've never seen a gun. I found some shotgun
Did you go
ammo.
into a military base?
See,
Because
is that where you get the guns?
otherwise you can get a 22 rifle or a shotgun sometimes in other places. But that's about it.
I saw a fenced off area that freaked me out
Yeah,
because I didn't. Okay,
did you hear
here's
the mech? Boom.
Well, see, that's the thing is like I almost didn't want to say that if no one's played it and they were going to play it because it was such a
it's
cool
an-
surprise to
yeah.
me. But all of a sudden, I'm walking up on this black fence with these signs that say "Do not enter," and I hear this clanking and this robotic sound, and I get closer, and there's a mech up there.
Did it
and
kill
it's-
you?
It was like it's a threat detected, and it started firing at me.
Yeah.
But I was
You ran.
I was like I was wearing like underwear and a backpack I had stitched out of my prison clothes.
Yep.
And I'm just like, I got to get away from this thing. And then I found a hole in the fence, and I was like, maybe I could run in here.
All the good stuff's inside those
And then
places,
it-
but you
it
will
killed
die
me.
if you don't know how to. Each one is
Question.
different.
Can you play this game with your character nude?
No.
No, he
Okay, so
always
it's
has clothing
Undies.
on.
He has
yeah.
he has Mormon underwear on, is what he has on.
Yeah.
It's like a shirt and underwear. It looks like Mormon underwear.
Yeah, but you
had
can
me-
get hot pants.
You had me at
Oh,
the whole
okay,
rust aspect of it
Okay, you
until
can't show your
until
wiener,
you can't
Kyle.
run around
Yeah,
naked.
no.
And the idea of surviving with a dude that's running around naked in the woods just seems like that makes it more video game feeling than anything else.
yeah, well, you're a prisoner.
No,
So
I mean, like,
It's Kyle's. That's where he draws the line.
if you're interested, this isn't just like a.
yeah, it's not. It's too real if you have to wear clothes.
They've spent a ton of
You're
time.
gonna love Cyberpunk.
Yeah, they put a ton of time developing backstory for this game. If anyone cares to dive that deep into
You mean
it,
lore? Yeah.
But there's a reason for it because they're actually this isn't just a open world survival game, although that is the majority of the game right now. It also has events for like that are PUBG style shootout events. Well, I'd say they're more like Call of Duty style from the speed and pace and sizing of
Yeah.
of the space, but they are building into it an actual end game. So there is actually a point to the game. There'll be quests in the game. There's hunting in the game. There's all kinds of stuff in it. I think the most brutal yet satisfying in a weird way part of the game is you die and you die. Like all of your character growth, you keep the same character, right? But all of his growth, all the traits that he's learned through being in the world and doing things, they all go back to whatever your starting format
Yeah.
was, which you still get to customize a little bit
Even
when
if
you
you-
when you build your character.
Even if you jump into one of these events where you're,
The events don't impact the
Okay.
survival,
but once
they're
you
like a
get
break
back
from
to survival,
Correct.
then okay,
Correct. But there is because it's the lore of the game. You're a prisoner on this island, and you're fighting to survive and hopefully eventually leave. Basically,
Thus,
and
you're
get
scum
out.
because you were in
you're-
prison.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you're the worst of the worst. There was a big hoopla last week, and it was a pretty big deal. I liked how the developer handled it. They immediately removed it, but there were one of the options for the character It has lots of tattoos. There's actually a couple of different ones of those. And one of those options, come to find out, on the back of the head, there was some Nazi tattoos or referenced Nazi nomenclature and things like that, white power type stuff. And they apologized. It was gone immediately when it was identified in the wild.
So it was a symbol, maybe, or
so it had. There's 8-8. It references white power. There's a few other things that were on there, but no huge swastikas.
I'm surprised
or something that.
I didn't even hear about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I think it was because they handled it so well. They just immediately just wiped it clean. I think
Kuiper's
the
found
two
it.
numbers, the 14 and the 88, and then the the cross with the skull on the left. But those are gone. They moved them pretty much immediately. Today, though, first week patch, wiped. They had to change the format of the game saves in order to fix something in solo play, so you can actually play on your own server as well, and not encounter other real people if you don't want to, and just do it as a survival style game only exclusively. But there was an issue, again, very early access for the game, but it ended up wiping everyone's game saves across the entire game.
But isn't that normal for...
I was ranked number 1 on my server, Eric. You don't understand. I had over 630 fame points, man.
That's really... What was your rank called?
I was superstar.
That's incredible.
I was number 1 for 4 days.
That's because you played as much as
4
you would
days.
play
Yeah.
a full game.
Pretty much.
60 hours.
But I'm still enthralled.
60
But I'm still
hours.
enthralled with the game.
Yeah. Well,
Which says something about it being early access and still.
Well, I mean, I can think about when Rust came out. I think Trevor and I probably put close to 80 hours into that, just screwing around and trying to kill nakeds.
Yeah. Now you can create clans.
That was fun.
So I think there will be this point where people start building clans of characters that have different skill sets. So if you don't have the crafting skill set in order to build certain items, you can't do it.
Yeah.
If your weapon skills aren't ranked up enough, you can't craft your own ammo, all kinds of stuff like that. So I think there's going to be clans that'll start getting built around the game as well.
Yeah. One thing I was going to mention is I had played it for quite a while. I was just I tried not to look too much up. I really kind of wanted to discover some of it for myself, but I did end up going to some YouTube videos just because I didn't understand what was happening. I cannot believe that you can go to a screen on here that shows it's called the metabolism tab.
It's impressive.
It has so many body functions going on in there. It
Your
shows
nutrients.
It shows you all the vitamins levels in your body.
Yep.
Whoa.
It shows you the percentage of fullness of your bladder, your stomach, your
How much
colon.
digestion of each food that you ate recently?
Yeah, there's just charts and graphs, an EKG, your lung capacity.
Did you notice
your
if you
temperature.
fall and hurt yourself or get hit by something, it'll actually show you where in your body
Yeah,
you're
there's
damaged?
a red.
And if you get hit in the leg or jump and break your ankle or something like that, you'll walk slower. You won't be able to run. You won't be able to carry as much.
Now I
It's
died.
crazy.
Well, the first time that I had really been playing well. I had accumulated a lot of stuff. I built a box to put my stuff in the
Nice.
box.
Did you build a home base? Yeah.
No, I haven't got that far. I haven't found the stuff, I guess. Because I don't even have the only thing I have is for a little shelter, the recipe for that. But I
okay.
don't.
That's all you need. That's the base. It basically
Can you
it's
upgrade it?
No, it's a respawn point technically. So it's a home base for if you die. You can use your fame points to respawn in
at
that
that
spot.
spot.
Otherwise, it's random.
Well, yeah, I've learned that. You can choose a sector.
Again, based on fame
there's
points.
four levels of respawn. You can no fame points is you get respawned
Completely
wherever
random.
it wants to put you.
Okay.
And this map is gigantic.
Which I've played for, like I said, 5 hours, never seen another human except one time I saw another player swimming across somewhere, and I was on a almost full server, so it's hard, it's kind of crazy how big the map is.
Yeah.
You have these different respawn options, so it respawns randomly anywhere, or you can respawn in a sector. You can choose a sector of the map,
There's
B4 or whatever, and
12 sectors.
and then there's,
No.
you said, there's an option to respawn on your home base, which I regretted because I was close to building it. It's hard, though, because it takes 8 long sticks.
Yeah.
And there's no good way of carrying those.
You got to bundle them, but you can only bundle 3 at a time.
Yeah. And so that's one thing. And then And then the fourth, like the highest, like if you have the most famous, like you can respawn on a team, like
So-
on a
but that's
friend or
only,
something.
So friending is interesting in the game, right?
Yeah.
You can only become someone's, I think clan is technically how they, I think that's classed as a clan. Anyway, you can only become a group with someone in the actual game on your server. So you can't be like, oh, me and my buddy are going to play, yeah, let's jump on the same server and we're automatically in a team.
yeah.
You have to find each other in the world.
Which makes sense.
And then you have to, one person has to ask to join, and then the other person has to accept. And all that really does allows you to respawn on each other if you have the fame points, but it also allows you to, when you're fighting zombies or other people, you can hurt each other, but it minimizes the, like, you don't actually treat each other as adversaries. So it
So if
kind
I
of,
shot you, it wouldn't hurt
no,
you
it
as
would.
much.
It would hurt if you purposely pointed at me and shot me. But if you're swinging a bat at a zombie and so am I, the odds are you're going to hit the zombie. But but there is a chance you're going to hit me. It's just lesser.
Oh,
Does that make
okay.
sense? Yeah.
Trevi91 was asking if it's on PS4. No, it's only on
PC
PC, but I mean, it's in early access, so there's always potential for it to come to consoles eventually. I don't know if the developer has said anything.
No,
though,
I don't think so.
specifically. And
I
it's
feel like with some of the different like things that it's involving as far as like keeping track of your systems for your food and your health
much
and
your
all
body.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would probably be way more than most consoles would want.
I don't think that's that's just like a calculator
so?
at this
Okay.
point. It's just
Yeah,
like
it's
data.
not-
That's not
it's
anything
not hard to
that
process.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
I think
Well,
it's
I just meant as
And
far
the
as
server
like,
side's going to handle that.
well, and I don't
not
think
your
I don't think it's
device.
something that it's just never been done in a game that I've
Yeah.
seen to this level, anyways.
which to me it almost seems like, man, why am I playing this game and not paying more attention to my actual
Body, yeah.
body that is
Well,
can't
if you
kill people in
don't,
real
it
life.
starts to impact.
Just
you.
wait. The
Yeah.
new Apple Watch is going to be announced next week, and that one will do all that.
I need money
And
to
so-
be able to
well,
buy
I know,
a
but
new
I'm
one.
just saying that it'll
Yeah,
look like scum, and
Trevor,
it'll tell
you. Can
you.
Kill,
Oh, it'll
you
look
can
like
kill
scum,
people
okay.
in real life.
Well, you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to talk about this too much longer,
No.
but I do think that if you have PC,
It's $20,
and
guys.
It's a cheap game to get in. But I was impressed. I even told my wife this last week after I bought it. I was like, okay, so Jeremy was talking about this game on the podcast, and of course I was annoyed because he was overhyping it. And
Yep.
and I was like, but I kind of looked into it some more, and it actually looks kind of good, so I went ahead and bought it. And I really like it. And she's like, don't worry, I won't tell him. So, anyways, but
Man,
you're
you're
It's
in for
rare
some
that I
trouble.
find a game
Yeah.
first. That's the rarity.
no, it's good. It's good.
But you are in for some trouble with these two games sinking their teeth into you so badly.
Yeah.
And then
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man
Well,
coming
here's
out,
the
and then
beauty.
October hitting.
Eric, here's the beauty.
Oh,
This is
man.
early
Ugh.
access. You know you can come back to this later.
I know.
That's the beauty.
I know, and and that's the thing I find myself doing a lot with early access games. I think, well, actually, that's a lie because Rust, I played a crap load of that in early access, and now that it's out, I have not touched it at all.
I haven't touched it since
and it's
been
like
out.
a full release now.
You did that kind of with PUBG, kind of.
Yeah, I did. I did it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's technically fully released on
Yeah, it's
PC,
full-
right?
You
yeah,
haven't
for
played
a
it for a
year,
while.
almost
Yeah.
a year.
And I mean, I might have played one or two games here and there, but yeah, I don't play it much anymore.
Jeez.
But that's because I'm.
Yeah, I bought it on Xbox, and
Well,
I
I'm-
haven't touched it hardly
I'm still
at all.
playing a lot of PUBG. New updates, but you guys don't care, so I won't talk about them.
Well, talking about battle royales, Call of Duty Blackout mode. There's some details that have come out about
Nice.
that, and you can. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't.
We just went right into the stories, didn't we?
It wasn't in
kind
there.
of
There
Huh?
wasn't. I
You-
put the stuff I wanted to talk about in there.
You said what you were playing,
Well, I
and
know,
then you
but I
asked
had that in
Jeremy.
there.
Kyle wants to know.
Really,
what-
we've only talked about
know-
what you played
yeah,
to start,
I've
and
played
Jeremy
some. I've
piled
played
on
some
to
other games. Can
one
I
of 'em.
talk about
Oh,
my
yeah,
games?
You
sure.
haven't asked what Jeremy
Sorry-
played, or
sorry.
what Trevor played, or what I've played.
I thought we talked enough about what we played. Go ahead. No, I'm
You
kidding.
talked.
I-
You
I got
talked.
one
I
more.
know. Just leave me alone.
I
Just
got
go.
one more, and I can't recall. Forgive me. I may have mentioned it last week, and I can't give much details about it.
Sorry.
But Trials, anyone? Anyone remember Trials? Played Trials?
Nope.
Yes.
Bike
No,
game,
I don't know
Xbox?
what you're talking about, Jeremy. What is this game called Trials?
There's a new Trials
Yes.
Rising that they announced.
Hey,
at E3,
just
blah,
a
blah, blah.
reminder, we're on a video game show, so everyone knows what Trials is.
Yeah,
so
we know what Trials is.
Yeah.
Everyone
Well, I
knows-
mean, it's
everyone
been a
knows what
while
Trials
since the
is.
last one came out.
Everyone knows what Trials is.
Anyway, it's in a pre-alpha technical release.
So you can't say anything.
So it is NDA. I can't talk about the gameplay or
Aren't
anything
you
like that.
special?
But I can. It is They did have a release date now. It's February of next year. If you like Trials games, you're gonna love it. So
Great.
I really it's
said
cool.
too much.
It's
I've been-
cool
I've been
because it
playing
has
it
more
this last week.
explosions in it this time, and I like that.
Ooh.
And
it actually. I can say this because it's been publicly released. But the mechanic of how they've always tried to have a storyline and it's failed really miserably. I think every time it's always kind of just been in the background. This one
I
they're
don't
trying.
choose your words wisely. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I just the idea of a Trials game having a good story.
No,
is
that's what I
kinda
mean.
funny to me.
That's what I mean. It
Yeah.
didn't, and I'm not saying it is going to have a good
Yeah.
story. I'm
He's
saying
saying it's
they,
gonna be an amazing
they developed,
story.
No, they're making the
That's going to
story.
be The Last of Us.
It's not about the story. I'm saying they make the story more about the mechanic of getting between games, getting between races, than like something that drives you through it, like you're trying to save somebody or something. But in that respect, it falls more in line with like Crew 2 style of
Oh, okay.
interacting with your races.
That's not out till next
dumb.
year either. I don't think.
February.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Anyways, Kyle, you played.
You managed to talk about a game that you can't talk about for 5 minutes.
Technical details I can't give out.
No, I picked up Into the Breach because it just got released this week on Switch, and
Yeah, $15. That's
Yeah.
pretty cheap for a Switch game.
it's pretty awesome.
It didn't have the Switch tax on it, like
didn't
most
have
of the
this-
indie titles do.
It is from the creators of FTL. It's turn-based, which I never really got into turn-based before. I mean, like I tried the Mario Rabbids game when that came out, and it was neat, but it wasn't something that held my attention. And I feel like this is going to hold my attention more because it's. I know it's been compared to like chess because it tells you see what you are going to do, and you know what your stats are. You know what any attack that you're doing, you know exactly what it's going to do as far as
Yeah.
how much damage, where it's going to put somebody, what it's going to do for you. So
Well, and it's not. There's. I think when you throw the word turn-based around, it's important to kind of like specify that there's multiple different versions of games that are turn.
Sure.
Like an RPG. Like I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Dragon
That's
Quest.
different.
That's like an RPG style
Yes.
turn-based. Rabbids
Yes.
is like more of an XCOM turn-based
Right.
type
You were right
game.
in putting this in kind of a chess
And-
format.
But this is turn-based, but it's much more of a
Yeah.
what would you call it, Trevor? Is it like what do they call? I think it has its own like
Tactics.
tactical
yeah.
game. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
you're
tactical
right. True.
turn-based.
Tactical
so, yeah.
turn-based.
It'd be turn-based strategy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but tactical though I think
Yeah,
is
which-
also
yeah.
Which I mean, sometimes
Or
those
is
games have
XCOM tactical.
have
Anyways,
felt
doesn't
like
matter.
they've
I
been
don't know, yeah.
they
Something
felt
like
like they've fit as something that I would get into, but I usually would lose my attention after a while because I feel like a lot of them you don't know what's going to happen. They take so long. And this, you literally see you've got, okay, there's only 4 turns that are in this level or 5 turns or whatever. You have to complete it by that time. And it shows you exactly what your stats are, so you immediately know if you are going to kill this monster or if you're going to push it out of the way to keep it from attacking the building that you're supposed to be protecting. So it makes it a lot more chess-like in that you know exactly what's going to happen, which I really like. And I haven't gotten much time to play it, but I also...
I love that part, like you mentioned, like when it shows you what's going to happen. There'll be certain points where you're down to one of your what is it called, like a
Hellfire.
troop or one
Mac.
one
mech or whatever they want to call it. But you'll be down to one playable option, and sometimes you're just trapped. And it's like if you do this, you're dead. But like there's no other choice.
Right.
And it's just like it's just kind of gloomy.
And
is all.
because it's kind of built on this idea of time travel, there is the ability based on how much of the power grid that you've saved, you can restart a whole turn. So you can basically say, okay, I did that. I messed up on that one. Because once you actually do the attack, you can't stop it, but you can cancel your move and like go back to where you were originally and then redo your move as the character. So I don't know. It's I've only gotten an hour into it.
Does it have any touchscreen?
It doesn't on the Switch.
So it's all button, which
all
makes
button.
sense because if you have a dock, you'd want to play it that way. But
and some of the reviews that I had seen that had been for the Switch specific stuff said that it didn't really take long to get used to that as opposed to the mouse clicking and stuff because it's really set up well. They've got a couple of different things that I feel like they've used the buttons mapping well to be able to jump to different things on the screen if you want, and the sensitivity of your cursor being moved by the joystick actually feels pretty good, and especially with it being something that's a slow-paced game, it doesn't ever feel like you're like, man, I need to get to this thing. You
can't operate it fast enough.
It doesn't
to play the
feel
game.
like it keeps you from actually doing what you want to do. So I don't. It definitely feels like it's at least early on easier to get into than FTL was. Because
different game though.
It is different game.
Yeah.
That game was so punishing in the way that I don't think I even.
And it was a lot more too about the narrative, where this doesn't have as much story behind it. Where FTL was kind of a choose your own adventure in a lot of ways. So.
But I do love the fact that like it's something where once all of your characters die, you have the ability to basically start over again, and one of your characters will keep their stats, and you start it all over again with a more powerful mech than at that point. So
Into the Breach, it's on Switch now, but it's been on PC for quite a while.
It's been on PC since like February or March.
Available on Mac as well.
Yeah. And then it's available on Switch. I think it came out last Tuesday or Monday or something.
Did you reference it to FTL? It's by the same maker.
Same makers. Yeah,
that's right. Okay. And Steam does state it is a turn-based strategy game.
There we go. Strategy. Yeah. I do need to go back and try FTL again.
Trevor.
I really wanted this game on iPad because it seems like a perfect iPad game.
Oh, it kind of does.
Yeah. But no, we'll see.
Switch is a nice close second.
I mean, that's why I was hoping it was touchscreen operation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would be. But yeah, so mobile platform is great for this.
It doesn't feel like it hurts.
No, I'm not
from
being
that.
critical of it. The iPad's just like I like the idea of like having that mouse kind of ability of just like touching the unit. That's the word I was looking for earlier.
The unit.
That's what
yeah.
And then moving it.
Touch the unit.
All right, now that Trevor needs a turn. What games have you been you got 3 minutes, Trevor, go.
Well, the good news is I've not been playing anything interesting.
Oh, okay.
So no more Star Citizen.
I haven't had the chance to play the Destiny 2 Forsaken stuff. It came out.
Hey, Eric, we paid for that. No, wait, we didn't. Never mind.
No,
This is the stuff we didn't pay
You have to
for.
pay more.
We still have to play the stuff we
More!
did pay for.
The one robot dies. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm excited to try it out. But what was I have been playing something, but I can't. Oh, I started playing through Uncharted 4 again because I loved that game, and I only played through it once, and I'm just like, I should give that another try.
Yeah.
And I remembered how beautiful and fun that game is. But that's it. I haven't really been playing much though, so my life, I don't know. I guess I played some other random stuff. Nothing too interesting though. So we can go on.
New games are coming out.
What else did you
We're
play,
excited.
Trevor? Just list it off. Come on, I want to know.
Just tell us.
Honestly, I can't remember. I
okay,
played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto Online.
Anyway, okay.
Ooh.
And
Did you open a club?
Not yet. I'm wanting to because I loved the Ballad of Gay Tony, and I wanna do more with that because I want.
Wait, you can open clubs now?
Yeah, they
that's-
just added that. They
Like a
got
nightclub?
A couple
Yep.
months ago, yeah, or like a month
Like
ago.
a strip club?
no, like a dance club.
No, they didn't
Oh,
want. They didn't want
a
to have
dance
everyone
club.
be in the line of opening strip clubs because you know if that was an option, that's what everybody would do.
Ronan the Wanderer
in the
says the
game.
bow is super fun. I have heard that about the Destiny thing. Is that only in the Forsaken update then, the bow, or is that in the DLC update that just came out yesterday?
I bet you might be able to get it through just the regular stuff.
Because there
I
was a
bet you don't
DLC
probably need it.
update that was included
Yeah.
if you bought the big thing that just came out yesterday, right? And then there was the Forsaken. Like there's two separate things.
I'm not positive if you can get bows, I guess, without the
anyways.
DLC. I wouldn't be surprised if you couldn't, but then I wouldn't honestly be
Which
surprised
if you haven't,
could.
if you haven't,
Didn't the hunter already have a bow?
Well, super bow.
this is like a different bow. Though.
Oh, gotcha.
This is just like a regular.
This is something you
weapon,
can
so.
use all the time. If you haven't played Destiny, you have an opportunity this month because it's free on PlayStation with
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus.
Give it
So
a
there
try.
you go. Which really, it's just a scheme to get you to buy the DLC. But still, if you want to play the base game for free, you could do it.
This game's pretty good, so.
Real quick, we did mention earlier, I tried to mention rudely, I was so rude to just cut off Trevor and Kyle from talking about their games. I'm so sorry. An endless amount of
dare
apologies.
You know what? This was our fault. We had you talk about games first.
I told you it was never a good idea to let me start because I will take the whole show.
All right, so back to
Duly
Call of
noted.
Duty.
I will
Duly
do. I'm
noted.
going to just start my own podcast where I talk about games for an hour by myself.
Real quick, Ronan says you can get bows without DLC.
Yay!
Interested, so.
Gonna get bows.
Yeah.
Get your bows.
I
if
heard
you're
some of
still
the
playing Destiny.
Forsaken stuff leaked accidentally for people who didn't buy it even
Yeah,
before it
yeah.
came out, and people were like be able to equip like armor, but it was
Yeah.
screwed up and it said
Oh, really?
like it had like stamps on it that said like pre-release or something like that, and it wasn't all the textures weren't all
Jeez.
there, and it was
That's
weird.
funny.
Anyways, quick, Black Ops 4 blackout mode there's some details have released because the beta is dropping the 10th on PlayStation, which is next Monday, and then it's not coming out till the 14th for Xbox users and PC users for the beta, I think, or maybe
Is that
PCs.
open
The
beta?
public. That's the public.
Yeah.
one.
Well, no, but you can't play on Xbox till the 14th.
Oh, okay.
On the blackout beta. I don't know if it's open, so don't quote me on that. You might need to look into that. I don't think, but there was an interview with one of the guys that worked specifically on Blackout and the Blackout mode, and he said that right now it's set at 80 players, but he kind of hinted that, hey, why not 115? We're going to see where we can scale it to. The beta is a big part of that. They're going to kind of pull a lot of the data off there and see how many more players they can add before the final release, which I'm very happy to hear that because
Yeah.
I was worried that this was going to be like
20.
a 20 or maybe 30,
64.
32. Yeah, I mean
man.
64 is what Battlefield is going to be for their battle royale mode.
And that's what Scum is.
But 80 players in call. I got to tell you guys, I am super excited about this. I don't know why. I know
Have
the
you
format.
pre-ordered?
Yeah, I did. I
Okay.
on Xbox.
Shame on you.
Because
but
I've been going. I kind of want to, but I haven't yet.
I did it on
Maybe
Xbox.
this weekend.
So I'll be able to play it. But I do have I did get a code for PlayStation for the beta before, so I don't know if that'll allow me to play the Blackout one,
fun.
two. I don't know, but I'm so excited. I love that format of the battle royale thing, and I'm curious to see. Like we've talked about it before, but I'm very curious to see it
I
with
mean,
the
everything they've done
pedigree.
is polished. So
The pedigree of
yeah.
Call of Duty in a battle royale mode just sounds awesome. And they did confirm 4 vehicles. There's going to be, I think they said, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's an ATV, 2 cars, and a boat. Or no, a helicopter and a boat.
They
So-
are going to have the helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's called
Nice.
it's the Little Bird helicopter, which is a real military helicopter.
That's the one I like to fly in
yeah.
Grand Theft Auto.
Ooh. Well, it's going to be here, and that's
So I
like
can die instantly.
they have like Nuketown Island, which is like Nuketown, but it's an island on the map, and like the map looks cool. They released a screenshot of the map today. So
Exciting.
I am very excited. 80 players sounds fine to me. That'll be good to start it off and test
The
it out.
speed and everything with which Call of Duty is played in a battle royale scares the crap out of me. I don't, because I am terrible at Call of Duty in general.
So you're like,
So
I'm going
like,
to play for 30
gonna play
seconds
for 30
and then wait for
seconds
my
and then
friends
wait
for a
another
half hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, but the thing is that it's gonna be different. It's gotta
yeah.
be because for one, the health system works differently.
Oh, yeah.
You get to pick up things to heal versus
Yeah.
auto healing.
Plus the weapons are different, and then there's also like you're gonna see these beams of light that come off of the map before you parachute in. And that's going to be specific areas where zombies are. And when you land in there, you can, I mean, it's a risk.
So they're tying in zombie mode in with this too.
Which is cool. So,
Dang it! You guys are making me want to get this game.
Oh, it's going to be awesome, Trevor. So the reason the zombies are there
so
Wait
is
until
because,
after the beta.
sure, no, it's going to be awesome.
I got to get it for the beta now.
Yeah, exactly.
So the reason that this is interesting is like it's kind of a gamble because you can go in and land where the zombies are, and if you fight them, you can earn a bunch of really cool perks, different weapons and stuff that you can't get otherwise. So it's like an incentive to go in there and go after the
But
zombies.
then you got real people who are going to be doing
Yeah,
it too.
right.
Oh my goodness!
And they said the thing that's cool about that is that the circle can close in around where the zombies are, so it can be like
Ooh.
really crazy.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. So,
Dang it.
and they're talking about like different modes that they're gonna be able to update. They said their plan to support this is, it sounds pretty elaborate. Like they want to do kind of the Fortnite thing where they're gonna be releasing different modes. Which, by the way, I'm sorry to make this show go longer, but has anybody seen the new Fortnite mode that's coming out next week?
I heard something. About
Oh, it's called High Stakes.
What's in the box, man?
High stakes mode. It's probably it's kind of a goofy maybe Payday rip off or something, but it looks really cool. Where you have to go find a safe. Your squad has, it's like only for squads, and your squad has to find a safe, and they all have like these cool like bank robber masks on. You'll find a safe somewhere on the map. You gotta like press X to hack pretty much until it opens. You'll get like a diamond pinata. You put it on your back, and then you have to get your squad to like cover you pretty much as you get to these escape vans that are on like helium balloons or whatever, and then like escape the map. So it looks really cool.
So is it your squad against everybody else?
Yeah. So
Ooh,
you're
that is
trying.
pretty cool.
Yeah, you're
Huh.
trying to be the first one to like
Okay.
perpetrate the heist or whatever, and it looks pretty fun.
Real quick, I just confirmed the Blackout beta is only for pre-orders,
Okay.
Interesting.
so it's not a public. It's
Yeah.
only pre-order.
Okay. So yeah,
So I'm pre-ordering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did on Xbox, so I just like playing on Xbox better because it's like if
I did the first beta
an
on
Xbox game.
PC,
It's just-
and
yeah.
it was a ton of fun.
but it's just
But it was a different game.
Yeah.
It was different. It felt different.
I just like the casualness of sitting on playing
Yeah.
with a controller, and I like how that levels the playing field for that game too.
Yep.
But yeah, anyways, that looks great. I'm really excited for it. I'm curious to see what other things they do because it sounded like they were going to support it with different modes as well in the future. For
I'm gonna
that
have to get this
Blackout
game,
mode.
aren't I?
I don't know. I mean,
I had myself convinced I didn't want it, and after now I'm just.
I know,
like,
right?
okay.
I mean,
Now I think I
especially
might need to get it.
especially when I'm trying to decide what games I'm gonna get.
There's so
and
many in
keep,
August.
and there's
What
so much
other
in
game?
August.
What other game is making you not want to get Call of
Assassin's
Duty?
Creed, Red Dead Redemption 2,
Forza Horizon 4.
Game
Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Get Game Pass.
that one.
That's,
$10.
That's still
It's $10.
it still is money that I've got to decide where I'm gonna put
Well,
it.
yeah.
So-
but that's
But it's only $10 versus 60.
yeah. You could play it for $10 is what he's saying for a
True.
month, that month if you wanted. And then if you wanted to
True.
keep playing it, it'd only be $10 more.
But you got 6 months of play, and you're not playing that game for 6 months.
Not 6 months.
If
For
you,
$10?
before-
Oh, if you've
No, I'm saying
60.
before you
I see
pay
what you
enough
mean.
to make more sense to buy.
buy the game, yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah, I think the big ones are like Tomb Raider's coming out in the 14th, and then
Yeah.
you got Assassin's Creed on October 5th.
Oh yeah, and then Battlefield was delayed. Thank the
Thank
Lord.
I know,
goodness.
right?
We forgot to
Oh,
mention
man.
that. That's
But
right.
You know what? I
Battlefield
mean,
delayed.
it's,
was a-
it just makes November a little bit brighter because you got Hitman 2 and Fallout
That's
and,
true.
yeah.
and
Man,
Battlefield.
I'm so relieved at that because that's one I really want to get. I would, in fact, if it was choosing between Call of Duty and it would hands down
Yeah.
easily be Battlefield.
Well, now it makes it easier for you to
But
get
this
Call of
makes it
Duty. Anyways, we've talked enough about all these things. By the way, Henry Cavill got his wish. He's going to play The Witcher on the Netflix series. Whoopity-doo. That's great. He'll
When
do
is that
great.
supposed to
He'll
come
do
out?
good. I don't know why people are upset about this. Get over yourselves.
I'm excited.
People are upset about it.
I have just seen a lot of like kind of mocking.
But is
on the
it
internet
weird
about
though
it.
that a movie actor is
No.
does it?
No.
I don't know because it seems
No, not when you're talking about something that's a bigger
It's
drama
Netflix.
like
And honestly,
this.
like
Yeah,
look
I
at their
suppose.
faces. They actually looks very
They do look
similar,
really
like
similar,
facial
yeah.
structure. Like
Someone, Kuipers, why didn't you Photoshop the white beard and,
Yeah.
and hair
I know the scar.
Jeez.
Lazy.
and the scar?
Sorry.
The Witcher is I mean, it's based on books, so I feel like they have a lot of source material to make a really good series for it. So
It sounds like it.
hopefully, it's one of the Netflix top tier shows and not one of their like B class.
so. There's no
Marvel
stopping
shows.
crafting point that has to happen.
What?
Or like where he has to go pick things up and search for things. I'm just
That wasn't
like,
a very
it's
crafty
joke.
game, honestly.
No, but I
that
mean,
was,
like,
a very
it's not going
minor
to feel
part
like a
of it.
game movie. I don't think. I think
It's a
it'll.
TV
hope not,
series.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what
It's based on a
you know
book
what I mean.
already, so it
A re-
probably.
that's what I was saying. The
Yeah.
book makes it less of a
But
a
if you-
real life.
But if you
video
cut
game.
out all the game stuff, there's still really good stories being
Yeah.
told in The Witcher, so I don't think it's an issue.
Uh-huh.
Trevi asked, when does Battlefield come out? It comes out November 20th now. So
Which is perfect.
It got delayed. Some people are saying that's because it was bad pre-order numbers and some other things, but either way you slice it, it's good for gamers because
Well, it's
now
good for them
you're-
and for Call of Duty because again, people aren't having to
Yeah.
choose
Well, now-
as
like I
much.
s- like, yeah,
That's
like-
as
probably what he just said.
Well,
the
yeah.
pre-orders are down because
Either
people
way,
are having to choose.
either way you look at it, you got a couple more paydays before you have to buy that game, and that's good. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Me gusta.
let's wrap this up. Let's get it on with our lovely and talented,
thought you were gonna say-
co-producers.
I thought you were
I
going to
thought
let's
you
get
were
it
gonna
on
say
with
Donkey
Patreon.
Kong.
Our Patreon peeps. That's right. All of our lovely Patreon peeps. These are the great and beautiful individuals who donate at the co-producer level or higher. That's the ones you see there shining in Patreon. Coral. It's God of Atheists and Jay Oliver, or as we like to say, endearingly, Jolliver.
Joe, live.
You too could be famous like them and donate $10 or more at our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/MinuteHub. Subscribe at a $10 level or higher, and you will be showcased for the world to see on the internet. That's how fame works. Get used to it.
And encased in our heart with love.
But if you can only do $1, hey, do $1. Also, in conjunction with this, I'd like to announce that we're working on switching our Patreon, or not. Well, it does have to do with Patreon, but it's our Discord group. We are going to be opening that to everyone to jump in there and talk and connect. And if you want to play games together, someone wants to play Scum with Jeremy.
Easier way to play games with us. Easier way to show us
Yeah.
something you want us to talk about or that
Yeah.
you heard in the news.
But this is an important part is we are going to have a Patreon channel. So people will be able to be on that channel only if
Get
they subscribe to
exclusive
Patreon
updates.
and they can talk. Well, it's not exclusive updates. Thank
potentially.
you. Okay. Jeremy's just putting words in our mouth.
Jeremy's just saying things.
we don't
if we
promise
announce
anything.
something, it could happen there first.
Okay,
could
sure. That's a
potentially
good
say
point.
something.
Jeremy's right. I'm sorry to dismiss him. He's correct.
Well.
we could do that.
Thank you.
Maybe
But I think more appealing maybe would be that you'd have kind of a one-on-one opportunity to interact with us, where we might not engage in the other channels as much. So, but yes, that'll be coming soon. Hopefully, look out for that. It'll be a good way for our community, albeit small. We are a fierce
Stay
community
connected.
who wants to connect, and maybe we can
Yeah.
play some more games together, and that would be a lovely thing. So let's all do that.
You guys can play Star Citizen.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to play, some scum with somebody who's number ranked on the
Hey,
one on the
you
server.
know what? If you're
That
number
sounds
one ranked
nice.
on the server, you should probably start streaming some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Gosh,
I was
get
thinking
it
about doing.
together.
I was thinking about doing some hot tips.
At least put no,
something.
not just the hot tips.
but
just
there's so many in that.
you know
game.
what? So stream it. Stream
I
out
know,
your
I
hot
need to.
tips.
I need
I mean,
Stream.
Eric, you
if
should
you're
play
a
with
number
me.
one player, you should be streaming.
That's probably
We
true.
should just do a stream where we do it. Well, it'd probably be like a whole hour where we just try to find each other on the map.
Yeah,
Like,
that's,
it's
well, we'd only get through like 2 sectors.
Yeah, I
out
know.
of the 16.
for in an hour.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
So it'd be a 4-hour stream of us trying to find each other.
And that's
But yeah,
just
seriously.
across the map.
Yeah.
Do it,
Actually,
Jeremy.
on a stream, it might be easier because if you were streaming or I was, we could look at the other person's stream and see where
And
they
go,
were on
"Oh,
the
you're
map.
there
and
on the
like,
map.
"Oh, okay,
Great."
I'm getting closer.
Stream sniping on
I
this
mean,
game,
Jeremy,
though, could be pretty impressive.
You have played 60 hours of it already, so you could stream literally any time that you play it.
Yeah, pretty much.
People would watch.
Tweet Jeremy at Jeremy J.
Yeah.
Holt. I
Tell
want to
him you
watch you
want to watch him scum.
Yeah.
Scum all over my screen. All right, everybody. It's a good time to be playing video games because
It's
about to
almost
get hot.
October.
And hey, if you want something now to tap, get that going,
Get that
like
Spidey.
you play,
Spider-Man.
no, Dragon Quest. It came out yesterday. Play it now.
Scum.
Spider-Man.
Play
Scum.
Scum. Spider-Man's coming out.
It's Spider-Man.
So many games. Tomb Raider looks so good.
yes.
Yeah, I'm
You
really
can
excited.
Rub mud on yourself. Oh my gosh. I want to rub mud on myself.
Yes.
Ah,
Yep.
Mud on yourself.
guys, this is the future. Video games where you can rub mud on yourself.
Can you play as a guy?
No, you sexist pig. You cisgender scum.